Business session 1 will have a business overview and outlook. And as I mentioned earlier, we have 4 speakers in the dais. The 5th speaker is not able to travel and be here in person, so we will have his paper presented online. So we'll have the first speaker this morning in this
conference as the chairman of the Global Vinyl Council. I appreciate the opportunity to briefly discuss the critical challenges and exciting path forward for the Indian PVC industry. India's growth comes with its set of challenges. Globally and within India, the PVC industry faces increasing scrutiny regarding its environmental footprint. Some are concerned about responsible sourcing of raw materials, energy consumption in production, and waste management and the potential for microplastic pollution. And this demands our collective attention in India and around the globe. Furthermore, the need for greater circularity within the PVC value chain is paramount. We must actively explore and implement solutions for enhanced recycling, the development of innovative applications for recycled PVC, and the promotion of longer product lifespans. This requires collaborative efforts across the entire value chain, from producers and processors to end users and even waste management authorities. The global vinyl industry recognizes these challenges and is committed to addressing them proactively. Through the Global Vinyl Council, we are fostering knowledge sharing, promoting best practices in sustainable production, encouraging harmonization of recycling data, and supporting research and development in areas such as advanced recycling technologies and bio-based additives. For the Indian PVC industry to thrive sustainably in the years to come, a multi-pronged approach is essential. 1. Embracing innovation. Investing in cleaner production technologies, exploring alternative raw materials, and developing innovative PVC formulations with enhanced environmental profiles are crucial. 2. Strengthening waste management infrastructure. Collaborative efforts between industry, government, and local authorities are needed to establish robust collection, sorting, and recycling systems specifically for PVC.
Thank you, Elite Plus and Needy, for having me here. And congratulations on your 12th edition of PVC conference. Wish you all the best. Yeah. Members on the dais and respected Narayan sir and my PVC and my Polymers fraternity, a warm welcome to all of you here. Before I start my presentation, a general disclaimer, but apart from this disclaimer, I would just like to mention that my slides are about 48 hours old. You know the way things are happening on a daily basis. I didn't check my Twitter today morning, but I understand things have again changed. So please don't hold me if something is forecasted 48 hours before and the reality has changed as of today morning. So my topic of my discussion is going to be what are the opportunities for PVC in India. And to set the context, I'll start maybe a slide or two from how the economy looks and what it means for India and what it means for PVC in India. So presently, if you see, India is the 5th largest GDP in the world at about $4 trillion economy, and we are expected to grow at about 4 to 5% in the coming 2 decades. And what that will do is, by 2050, maybe in the pecking order, we will be the second after China. And what we have termed as the E7, or the growing economies, or the emerging economies, where we will be having number 2 position. But for that to happen, we as Indians, or India as a country, will have to develop substantially their institutions and also their infrastructure in general. And when we say why infrastructure, because as you see, we are a highly service-dependent economy. And the service economy in the Amrit Kal of 2047, what Prime Minister has envisaged for us, is going to grow by almost 13 times. That's from a $1.5 trillion economy, what is there today for a service industry, we are going to be at about a ballpark figure of $20 trillion economy. And this increase in service industry, what is it going to lead to? It's going to lead to increase in urban centers. And when we say increase in urban centers, it's going to grow from 46 smart cities to about 68 smart cities in 2030 itself.
Good morning. And first and foremost, I'd like to express my most sincere gratitude to the organizer for the invitation. And I was at Ahmedabad last month, meeting the market players of the industry. I can feel the vibrancy of the market, actually. And I can feel that it is, and many of them are looking for information, understand what's going on in the market, and so on. Yeah. Now, today, I'm going to touch on the chlor-alkali and vinyl, or the caustic and the chlorine at the macro level, because we have speakers here to cover more in depth on the PVCs. I'm going to touch on the macro level of how these chlor-alkali and vinyl are being balanced in the industry. All right. Now, I'm going to start off with looking at our slide here and assessing the balance. Right. Now, I can see a lot of speakers will touch on when caustic going up, PVC will come down, and that's the common equation that we see in the industry today. Yeah, and you have to take notes that the chlorine only vinyl contributed only a third of the chlorine value chain, right? And so, if you were to need to go more in depth to understand how these two chlor-alkali and the vinyl being balanced, or caustic soda or chlorine being balanced, you have to look into more in-depth into each individual market or each individual industry, right? Now, caustic soda and chlorine are very different co-products in the electrolysis of salt or the brine solution. And one behaves very steadily, and it goes into the manufacturing, irrespective of the GDP recessions or any massive GDP growth, and the demand remain relatively steady. Whereas when we look at the chlorine, it's very reactive to the GDP growth, right? When you see the GDP growth going up, you can see the demand of chlorine move up as well, and it collapses at the same time, because it goes mainly into the construction sector and the consumer sector directly. Yeah?
Alvin, AL for alkali, and Vin for vinyls. Second, they have passed along the genes, forecasting genes in my DNA, because over 40 years ago, they already foresaw I will cover the chlor-alkali and vinyls industry. So my presentation today, we will discuss the PVC market evolution through shifts in demand, trade, and sustainability. Along the way, we will also discuss how China could perform in the world where they are facing tremendous trade barriers against them. I will stay here so that you can see me. We will go through the presentation in 3 stages. First, an overview of the PVC supply and demand landscape with a few key growth drivers. We will then discuss the record trade developments in both the resins and the products made of PVC. We will end the presentation exploring how the consumption of PVC can be supported by boosting its green credentials. In the past 5 years, the capacity growth for the world in PVC have been stagnant. The demand side, however, was rather the PVC capacity growth has been rather steady, but the demand, however, was rather stagnant. Going forward in the next 10 years, we are projecting the global PVC market to expand by around 16 million metric tons. Putting it into context, that's roughly nearly a one-third increase over the 2024 level. In terms of percentages, we expect the demand growth to surpass that of capacity, allowing the operating rate to recover above the previous 10 years historical average by 2031. We have been hearing...
Disclaimer also, Mr. Unmesh, you are a bit of a positive. You have a 48 hours of the time valid for this assumption. I probably have only 5 to 6 hours, until the US time zones, wake up. So everything's changed very fast. So, I mean, at the moment, we're probably just trying to see how to get through all these, headwinds and, under the PVC markets. So my topic is actually the navigating through the PVC market recovery. Many of you actually tell me that, Gordon, please share some good news. So I'll try to share some good news within a high-pitch sound. So give you a bit of a good flavor. Okay, so the recovery is actually on the way. If you look at my slides, okay, so learning from the past history, we actually see we are in the middle of the market trough for the PVC market. There was a time that the cycling operational peak during the 2004 to 2006, and then we see a lot of expansion coming from China, and that accompanied with the global recessions during the period in 2008. So you had a big significant drop for the operating rates globally that built up the surplus. And what it happens to the end is the consolidation and the rationalizations happens. So that is actually the way you see the capacity changes become negative in the year of 2015 and 2016. Okay, so we're currently moving up to the peak and then comes down as the new cycle starts. The questions comes later that what is expansions looks like in the future? Are we really on the path to recover, and what is the curve looks like? So I create these charts to sending a message about on the right-hand side, and the left-hand side of the chart is showing what is expansions looks like for the PVC in the next 3 to 5 years. So you can already see that the story becomes Northeast Asia used to be a lot of expansions coming around, and if you look at the light blue area here, you see that Northeast Asia after 2027, we don't see a lot of expansion. So the reason behind was some of the expansion has already been decided during the COVID or before COVID. There was some delay and postponed on the capacity expansion, but those of been decided capacity are coming around in 2004 to 2006. So we're actually in the era or short period that we have to, how can I say, settle with all these large expansions coming around in the next 2-3 years. But after that,
focus on the outlook of Chinese PVC industry. My presentation will be structured into 3 key segments: macroeconomics, supply and demand analysis, and the PVC technological development in China. We will take a closer look at the future direction of PVC industry, focusing on how technology changes and developments in PVC production. China's economic development is going through a transformation. GDP growth slowed during the pandemic, with the modest recovery starting in 2023. China's GDP remains strong, increasing by 5% in 2024 compared to the 2023. In September 2024, the Chinese government introduced a new fiscal policies to boost the economic, aiming to shift the focus from the rapid growth to high quality growth in the future. China's population growth has slowed down since 2022. However, with a population of 1.4 billion, China remains a vast market. For example, the latest mythological story film released in China, Nayak, has surpassed $2 billion in box office revenue in China mainland. Per capita income in China has been steadily increasing year by year, from $2,300 in 2012 to $5,800 in 2024. However, the growth rate is declining. Rising per capita income has boosted purchasing power. Household spending is shifting from the basic needs to high-quality living.
To Mr. Bernard Law, the editor of Chlor-Alkali Asia from Argus Media. Mr. Alvin, the executive director of Chemical Insights, S&P Global Commodity Insights. And to Mr. Gordon Kuo, the Director, Asia ISC Vinyl and ISC Chlor-Alkali Chemical Market Analytics for OPIS, a Dow Jones company. We'd also like to thank Mr. Yingmin for joining us online and being part of the discussion today as well.
And may we request Shri MP Babu Sir, Supreme Industries Chairman, who we have the pleasure and honor of having with us here. He is the godfather for vinyl in India, to hand over the memento to Mr. B. Narayanan. We would have the honor, speakers and session chair. We will have the honor of having MP Babu in the frame with you. And that is a huge honor, as well as the PVC industry is concerned. Shri MP Babu to Mr. B. Narayanan. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for this wonderful session. Gordon, Alvin, you can also join the frame. Unmesh sir. Bernard.